Now, 225, I know that 100 seems like a big number. And if you only just set out to do those 100 photos on a single day, you are going to find that you are right, that it is a reasonably insurmountable goal to have to achieve in one afternoon, in a panic, within the 3 hours before the assignment is due, within the 3 hours before the discussion sharing stuff is due. And what I don't want you to do is to panic on that. Really, 100 shots is completely achievable if you break it down into smaller portions. So, what I have here for you is just some brainstorming ideas on what you'd be able to do in order to achieve that 100 shot. If you want to go over that 100, please be aware that you can. That is absolutely okay. It's just our minimum benchmark for that. Tip number one, always carry a camera. I know that this is super duper easy because most of you would rather leave the house without your pants than you would leave the house without your phone. So at the very least, you always do have a camera with you. Make sure you have a daily goal. It gives you something that you can string together from one day to another to another. So if you just have an amorphous type of a goal where you say, I need 100 this week, that doesn't give you concrete steps to be able to achieve that. But if you say, okay, today is going to be a busy day, I need 15 pictures, that's easier. Or today I have a 2 hour walk, I can take 30 pictures. That's going to lead you more reliably to a sustainable pace that you can achieve the requirement there. Honestly, especially here in the first week, don't overthink it. Whether or not you have a DSLR, a point and shoot, or a phone, especially for this week, most of the time the program settings, so the P mode on a camera, that does not mean necessarily automatic. You can absolutely positively change the settings if your camera allows you to, and most cameras do allow you to. Program is just things like focus and white balance and shutter speed are selected already, but it doesn't mean that you cannot change them as you're going through. So don't think of it as a limiting factor. Let's just worry about what we can do with composition, what we can do with subject, what we can do with expression this week. I think that that's honestly a better goal to help us kind of shed some of our insecurities about it. Honestly, if you're feeling inspired, go and take photos. If you're feeling uninspired, go and take photos. Find yourself in a place where you might find inspiration. The act of taking photos helps generate more photos for you to take. And I know that that sounds recursive, right? But it is recursive. The act of taking photos charges you towards the act of taking photos. It's a neat little piece of inertia that you can build there. So I know we talked about this already. 15 is about 7 days worth of images. So if you shoot 15 a day over the course of a week, you are going to make it. Start thinking about changing your perspective to a photographer's perspective. What makes an interesting subject? Can we take a disinteresting subject and make it interesting with its framing and its composition? If you look through the text, the DPCC text, they do, and again, this is why I like the textbooks. They have done a really good job of showing you, like, here's an orange. Can we make it a subject that's worth taking a picture of? Here's a staircase. Can we make it a subject that's worth taking a picture of? Here's a sunset. Can we make it a picture that's worth having? And the answer is yeah to all of those. As long as it's something that you want to communicate to us, then yeah, go for it. So always try to envision yourself as the photographer. Hint, you are. But it will help you to try and frame the world as a series of subjects for you to be able to manipulate, to be able to change your perspective on, and to communicate those observations out in the medium of photography. Especially here at This Week, I am not doing any, so this is the limit rather yourself to a single subject type. Don't worry about it this week. Don't worry about landscape photography as the only thing you can do. Don't worry about product photography, although please, you're welcome to do so. Don't worry about macro photography. Don't worry about, self-portraits or any of that. Choose a little bit of everything. I would say this is a really good opportunity to kind of think of this like a buffet. Sample what is out there and select the thing that you like to keep coming back to. That's, honestly, the fantastic part about classes in college is we get to help connect you to something that you might be energized about. Fantastic. And the very last thing here I do want just to share with you is to take breaks. There's nothing more exhausting than like being under pressure to take these photos. Ask a wedding photographer if they had any fun at this wedding today. No, they did not. Do you know why? Because they're being paid to have the camera ready the moment that an opportunity exists. It is exhausting. I remember being a wedding photographer and not being as exhausted at my own wedding as I was when I was done with those. The reason for that is because every time you let your guard down, as a wedding photographer in this particular example, you are missing an opportunity for a photo, and you don't want to do that. When you put all that pressure on yourself, when you have these internal constraints, I have to get it done, I'm behind, I need to take 65 photos today, it's going to burn you out. If we can shift the focus on that to let's just experiment. What happens if maybe we only take 5 good images today? Is that going to be okay? Yeah, it's going to be okay. As long as we have the buffer around that, it's going to be okay. So don't worry about meeting that goal exactly every time. Inspiration, and this is true, it actually shows up in both the DCPP and the SCP textbook. They both say the best images they've ever taken are ones they didn't expect to take. And I find that that is true in my experience as well. I always like to, because having grown up with LeVar Burton and reading Rainbow, I like to say, don't take my word for it. So here is a blog from a photographer who is going through the exact same experiment that we are going through, how to take more photos every day. And you can read and see their process and start to see yourself with that same lens. I am now the photographer. How am I going to make this goal for 100 photos? Give it a shot.